Hello everybody, my name is Doomfish, and today I'm going to give you a tutorial on how you can make a automatic tree farm in Minecraft. So here we are, this is the farm, and it is pretty simple, well as simple as I could make it. Obviously there's some complicated redstone back here, but I think you'll find that it's not too bad. Now what I'm going to show you is just grabbing a sapling, clicking the lever, and we can sit here, the bone meal dispenser will fire, and we will place the saplings. In addition, any saplings, or the majority of saplings that come from the leaves on these oak trees, will get put into our inventory, and those that aren't put into our inventory will get funneled into this barrel right here. So I've just activated a command block that is placing down saplings in that spot where we would be, and we can take a look at how this farm works. All it is a TNT duplicator that sort of breaks the wood at the end, and then the wood gets pushed out from over here, and these pistons on the sides are responsible for breaking the leaves into the drops we get. And all those drops get funneled in here, and all the wood drops get funneled in here. Now, there are some drops that will go outside of here. The wood will pretty much almost always fall into our collection system, but sometimes the saplings and stuff can get dropped in odd places, like, for example, on here and here. But again, at least probably 80 to 90% of the time, you will get all the saplings. And so let's show you what you're going to need to build this thing. So here's everything you're going to need, and I know it looks like a lot, but I'm going to make this as simple as possible for you guys so you can understand and build your very own tree farm in Minecraft. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and place a dirt block up in the sky, and this is 15 blocks above the ground. Yours can be a little higher, or it could even be a little lower, but this is a good spot for your elevation. Next up, place down 5 of your logs in the back like so, behind this block, and we're going to place down some sticky pistons facing forward, so I'm just using some temporary blocks, and place them like so. Now on this side over here, we're going to place a dropper facing up, and then a dispenser facing forward. Then on the other side, we're going to place a block and a comparator, and then another block with dust on the top of that block. Now what you're going to want to go ahead and do is place a block right here, and then another one right here, and we're going to make a little 2x2 platform out here, place redstone dust on these blocks, then we're going to place down a 2-tick repeater right here, and a 4-tick repeater right here, then we're going to put a sticky piston facing this direction with a block in front of it like so. Now the next step is going to be to place down 3 blocks behind this piston and 3 blocks behind this piston so it looks something like this. Put some redstone dust on the top here, repeaters on these blocks right here, and then head out one more block and go ahead and place down some redstone dust. Then on the right side here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make a quartz staircase up here, or not, a slab staircase, excuse me. And so I'm just placing some temporary blocks just to show you what this will look like, and then we'll put some dust on top of it. So it should look like this, as long as we've got a little staircase connecting the bottom part to the top part with redstone dust. And now what you're going to want to do is go ahead and make a little staircase down that connects up with this block right here. So we have one out this direction, one up, then to this, and we're going to put some redstone dust here. Now we can fill this dispenser with bone meal, and we can see this thing working. So if it works properly, if we place a block right here, we should see that it gets pushed out of the way pretty much immediately. Next up, we're going to place some temporary blocks on this one right here, and place some obsidian directly above our dirt there, and break those blocks so we should get something like this. Now what you're going to want to do is to go ahead and place down 2 slime blocks out the edge, and then one up here, and then another one on top of it. Then we can break these bottom 3 slime blocks, and we're going to place 2 to the left and 2 to the right here, and then we're going to place some honey on top of that, some slime on top of that, some honey, and then some more slime. And then we're going to place some fences on the front here. Now what you're also going to want to do is basically mirror this whole formation on the other side. So there we go, both sides are going to look something like this. And we're going to mirror basically everything I do for the next couple of steps. And so on both sides, we're going to place down obsidian like this, and like this. So it should look something like that. Now what you're going to want to do is go ahead and place down some sticky pistons facing forward on this block and this block. And we're also going to want to do this all the way up. So it might be a little difficult. You can try and get in from the side here. It's probably what I would recommend. And just sort of crouch and place them in, like so. And then do the same thing for the other side. And there we go, we've got our pistons in on both sides. Now what we're going to want to go ahead and do is head on one of our sides and place down this shape right here, and this one right here, on these pistons. And we're going to place down a repeater, dust right here, and a repeater right there. And we're also going to place down repeaters on this obsidian right here. Also, we're going to place down a block behind these obsidians, and a block behind these, and we're going to place some redstone dust on it. And then we're going to do the same for that side. Now what we want to go ahead and do is place down 2 blocks behind this one right here, and dust on top of it, and we're going to make another little staircase. So to do that, we're going to place a temporary block here, one on here, and one on here. And we're going to have our slabs here, place down redstone on top of these. Then we're going to head over here and sort of do the same thing. And so again, it's easiest to do like a temporary block here. And this one's a little different. What we can do is we can break this solid block, place it with the slab, do the same thing up here, and basically just sort of fill this in. So again, it's just going to be a little tricky to place these temporary blocks, but we should have a staircase all the way up with these redstone dusts connected. Now, if you noticed, on one of these sides, you might have a little bit of difficulty with the staircase because you'll see that if I'm just going to do this the normal way, we're going to intersect with our other staircase, and that's okay. We're just going to move this one in the middle over to the side a little bit. So I'm going to place some temporary blocks over here, place our slab here, and connect it up like so. It'll work just the same, and then we can continue our staircase up on this side. Now, the last step for this part is to go ahead and place down a block behind this block and this block on both sides, and we're going to place a 4-tick repeater heading into that. Then we're going to connect up these lines right here, and you should say these sort of meet in the middle here. We're going to place a block right here on the side and connect this up with redstone dust. And the very last part here is to just place some observers facing into this dust right here, and facing out into this line, and doing the same on the other side. Alright, so now that we're done with this, it would be a good time to go ahead and check if all the redstone has been done correctly and everything's been mirrored, because this is probably the trickiest part. And if you've done it correctly, if we place a block right here, you should see it gets pushed out of the way, and these fences come in, and these are to break any of the leaves that get in the way when a tree forms. Now what you need to do is go ahead and place a double chest right here, and this is where our bone meal is going to go in. So we're going to connect this up to this dropper right here, just by placing 3 hoppers in like so, and connecting it to this chest. Now what you'll want to do is go ahead and place a block underneath this dirt block, put a lever on it, go ahead and flick that lever, and we're going to put a piston on the left side of it. Then we're going to place a observer facing downwards like so, and an observer facing upwards underneath this. And finally, we're going to place a block underneath our extended piston right here, and some redstone dust like so. And you'll see, when we flick the lever, these will start firing. And what we can do now is go ahead and turn this off, or turn the lever on rather, and this is going to be the control lever for the whole machine. And we can take some of our bone meal, and this can be our bone meal input chest. So if you're going for longer AFK sessions, you might want to fill this whole chest up. Next up, we need to make a collection system for all of our saplings and sticks and apples and whatnot. And to do that, we're going to head on both sides here and place a temporary block out 2 underneath this fence. Do the same thing, so we can go out 2. And we're going to place down 7 hoppers flowing into that block right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Underneath all these fences, and do the same thing on the other side right over here. Now on both sides, on basically every block you can, you're going to want to put a hopper facing into that line of hoppers. This is just to collect as many drops as possible. You're not going to be able to collect all of them, but that's okay because that is not what we're mainly trying to harvest, and that is just fine. So as you can see, what I'm doing is basically placing hoppers everywhere I can, every single block, with only a couple exceptions. First of all, we're not going to place a hopper over this hopper right here. Instead, we're going to place a solid block. Also, we are going to sort of avoid this middle section, and I'll show you what to do with that in just a moment. So we're actually going to need to go underneath to connect these 2 lines up, and to do that, all I'm going to do is place a temporary block underneath this hopper right here with the block facing into it on the side with the dispenser here, and we're going to go ahead and place the hopper facing downwards. Then we're going to go ahead underneath and place another hopper facing downwards under that, and we're going to go ahead and try and connect up our hopper lines with this location right here. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and place some temporary blocks out here, just so we can sort of connect this hopper line like so. And we're going to make sure that it looks something like this when we're finished. And then we're going to want to go ahead and do is turn it into this block right here. And we're also going to want to make sure that this hopper, instead of facing that way, will also connect into this line right here. So now that's done, we actually need to undo some of our work, sadly. But that's pretty easy. We're going to break these 2 hoppers to the left here, and then we're going to break this hopper underneath and this one right here, and this is where our dispenser is going to go right here. Then what we're going to need to do is grab our barrel and go ahead and place that underneath like so, and we're going to place a hopper facing into it with a white carpet on top, or any other kind of carpet, doesn't really matter. And this is going to be our AFK spot. So, for example, what we can do is just place a little 2 blocks underneath this, and make a little square right here. And so what we're going to do is sit on this spot, and when we're planting our trees, this is where we're going to stand. So just a quick recap, we do have all of these hoppers are eventually making their way into the dispenser right here, And the next step is just going to make a mechanism that will fire those items off whenever this is turned on. So we're going to place a sticky piston coming out of the sticky piston right here. We're going to grab our observers, and what we're going to do is go ahead and place one observer facing this way on the end of the sticky piston, and another one on the end of the extended sticky piston like so that when this lever is turned off, a similar thing happens over here, and we have this dispenser firing. So I'm going to show you an example of how this all works. So I've turned the volume way down, and I would recommend you do the same in your worlds. You should be fine for the video, but when we plant our trees, we can flick the lever off, and we'll see this should work just fine. All of our drops get pushed out, and I'm just holding right click, that's it. And we'll see that we are getting more saplings if you pay attention than we're placing in. Obviously we're in creative mode, so that doesn't decrease. But you should be getting around a net positive. If you see, we just got a ton of them, and all the drops that don't make it into your inventory are going to make it into this chest or into this barrel right here. So if your inventory is full or whatever, then that works like that. So the next major step is going to be making our TNT duplicator and explosion device for the trees. So we're going to go ahead and do is place a block underneath this block right here, put some redstone dust on it, and we're going to grab a redstone torch and go ahead and place that on the end right here. Then we're going to head underneath that torch, place a block to the right here, and you can break that block that you placed underneath the torch. Place a comparator, and then we're going to make a little 2x3 square here. In fact, we're going to make a 2x4 square, and go ahead and place down a 4-tick repeater, 2 of them coming out of this comparator, and 2 of them coming back this way, just making a comparator clock. Then we'll right-click the comparator, put 2 more dust on the end here, place another block, and place some dust, and then we're going to place some torches all the way up to the top here. So on the end of this block, what you're going to want to go ahead and do is place down 10 torches with blocks on top of them. So we're just going to count all the way up to the top. Make sure you place exactly 10 torches and 10 blocks here. And I'll show you what it looks like when you're finished. Now at the top of our little torch tower here, we're going to go ahead and place a block to the side here, head up 1, and then place 3 blocks like so, and then 3 blocks out towards the end here. And we can place down some redstone dust on those blocks like so. Then to the left, we're going to place down 1 block here, with a repeater facing into it, then a sticky piston on that block, with a block on top of it, another block coming out of it, and then we're going to place down a 4-tick repeater like so. Now on the end right here, you're going to want to go ahead and do is place down 3 blocks like so, sticky piston on the end, and we're going to want to head to the left side and make a little staircase. We're going to staircase down 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and then we're going to go ahead and curve in like so, and we're going to place 1 block here and then 7 more, like so, and then we're going to go ahead and place a block right here on the end. So it should look something like this. Next up, we're going to place down dust all over here. We're going to place a repeater here, set to 1 tick, 3 dust right here, and then 4 4-tick repeaters. Next up, we need to make our TNT duper. To do that, we're going to place down a gate on the edge of this block here, and on the gate up here, along with a wall of any kind on this side. And on the sticky piston up here, we're going to place down a little L shape right here. We're going to fly around to the other side right here, and place down another L shape like so. Then go ahead and place some TNT on top of that fence gate. Go ahead and open the fence gate, and then go ahead and place down a detector rail here and a minecart. And the last step is going to be placing down some dead coral fan right here. Now we're going to head down here onto this hopper right here, and we're going to place down 6 temporary blocks coming out of the end, and then 1 block of obsidian. And we can break those temporary blocks like so. Now, if you've done it correctly, this TNT up here should fall on this block right here, and it sort of lines up. Now, the last thing we have to do before we test this machine out is to go ahead and put down a cobblestone wall on top of this TNT right here. And then, once you feel confident that you've done everything correctly, we can go ahead and flick the lever down here. Now, what we'll see is that the TNT should start firing, like so, and you'll see it drops down onto the obsidian we placed, and it'll break some of these logs here. So obviously when we are placing down our saplings, those logs will keep on coming out, and they'll get broken. Now what we need to do is make a system that will collect all those logs down there. Now, what you'll want to do is go ahead and line yourself up with this block right here where our timer is, and we're going to head down, and we're going to place 2 blocks right here. Then we're going to break the bottom one, and we're going to head 3 blocks to the right, and then 5 blocks to the left, like so. And then we're going to place down 6 blocks behind each and every one of these blocks like so. And there we go. Now, essentially what we want to do is basically the same thing. We're going to head up 1 more, again, heading out this direction towards our TNT duplicator. And we're going to place another 9 blocks here, and we're going to place another 6 blocks behind those. And there we go. The next step is going to be going ahead and placing a little one high border around this, considering this is where our water streams are going to go, and we don't want those to fall out. We're just going to make a little wall, at least 1 block high around the whole thing, except for on this very edge right here. What we're going to do is make the wall, but leave a little space right in here. Now the next step is to go ahead on this open side and place down some signs all the way along this back wall right here. And when you're finished, all you'll want to do is go ahead and head to this side and place down some water buckets on the edge right here. Now what you're going to want to go ahead and do is head on the left side right here and place down 7 blocks on the ground right here. And then we're going to want to cover up our wall, or extend our wall out, to cover up this area as well, so our water doesn't leak out. And we can leave this very side open if you want. And now what you're going to want to do is go ahead and put down a chest right here, double chest, head inside, and place down 2 hoppers facing into this. Then what we can do is go ahead and cover up the end here, break these blocks, and put them with a non-solid block, just anything you can open this up with. I didn't include glass in the list of materials. It could be anything, any opaque block you want, and then place down a water stream in this left corner right here, and believe it or not, that is everything there is to it. Alright, so I'm going to show this farm in action and sort of explain how this thing works. So, this is a little platform, and your AFK spot is going to be right on this hopper right here. And then what we're going to do is just flick this lever off, and then we're just going to sit here and right click. And as long as this chest is filled with bone meal, or as long as this dispenser is filled with bone meal, this should work just fine. We're going to keep on placing down these trees, and this is what it's going to look like from your perspective. And here's what the farm looks like from the outside perspective. So just like I did in the very beginning, I've set up a command block over there that is just basically constantly placing down saplings where you would be. So just like we saw earlier, what we should see is the wood being pushed out, heading down there, and heading into our little chest right here. And this thing is pretty freaking fast. So if you're farming out a lot of chests for hoppers, or a storage system, or just building a giant build that uses a lot of wood, this is going to be a great option for you. So something to note here is that, as you can see, I've just been using the oak wood, and that is the best farm in terms of getting stuff like apples, sticks, plenty of saplings, but the farm should work just fine as well if you are using birch or jungle saplings. Unfortunately, acacia, spruce, and dark oak sort of just don't work with the constricted space we've got here, so this will just work fine if you're using those 3 kinds of woods. And there you go. I know this has been a relatively highly requested topic on my channel for a little while here. So, here it is, an automatic tree farm in Minecraft. If you enjoyed the video or found it informative, don't be afraid to leave a like, and you can subscribe for more content just like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.